if you don't support Donald Trump, don't call me. I don't want to roof your house. I never owned a cat or a dog. The first animal I ever bought was a zebra.
So what's the problem with employees? Why it didn't work out?
People just don't want to leave the safety and security of their salary or hourly position.
Listen, they sell 19 roofs, and then all of a sudden they know more than me.
So I have this person accusing you of stuff, and I'm gonna give
All
you.
right, bring it on. That is the day that I told her that I would never have another salesperson at my company. So it's all organic. I've never paid Google ever to market. That's how I bought my first car. I bought it with $1,000 in quarters. Donald Trump is the Michael Jordan president.
All right, guys. Today we have very special episode of Business Hats Podcast. We are in St. Louis, Missouri, with the black and white roofing. So many stories. We already been talking for like hour and a half, and this is one of the very few episodes that we filmed in the car. But we have almost 2-hour drive. So why waste time? Why not to do podcast in the car? So my first question is about this animal that we have. People literally were asking us for selfies with the animal. What's his name? How did you get him? And what's up with implementing him in the business?
So his name's Virgil. He's a ringtail lemur. And so it all started with a zebra. Joe and I were in a town talking to a guy about, neat black and white stuff, because everything he's got is black and white. And Joe told the guy to call him if he came across anything, and 30 minutes later he called and said, "I found a zebra. Do you want a zebra?" And of course Joe said yes. So it kind of went from there to other black and white exotic animals. We were picking up a black and white alpaca, and his parents were there. So Joe took them, built them a nice big enclosure. We didn't think they would have babies, and a year later, sure enough, they did, had twins. And he was falling off mom. The other one was kind of small, not gaining weight. So we had to take him from mom and nurse him back to health. And once we did that, mom, dad didn't want him back. So his brother didn't make it, but Virgil's been with us just about every day, everywhere, ever since. So he's just part of the crew. And everybody loves Virgil, wants to know about him, talk about him, see him, take pictures. And I always joke that he does roof inspections too.
So you have Zoo is a marketing strategy, pretty much. That's what you're telling me. What's your roles in the company? How did you guys meet, and what do you guys do? Like, what business hats you wear? Obviously you're a chauffeur now of this awesome Bentley.
Right.
You're in a passenger seat without cup holders.
Yeah.
Bentley 14 years ago.
You don't need cup holders in a Bentley.
Yeah, apparently Bentleys are made to drive. If you want to be driven, it's the Rolls Royce you want.
I see. So how did you guys meet, and what are your roles in the company?
So I was an insurance adjuster, still am.
Still am?
Yeah, I still have a license as an adjuster, and occasionally I'll help out on some oddball stuff that pops up. For the most part, though, in contracting. But as the insurance side was changing, I started doing supplements for contractors, and was doing it for a few, but Joe was keeping me pretty busy. And actually went in to meet with Joe the first day we met and thought he was going to offer me a job, and I was going to tell him no, but I took the meeting to meet him because I'd been trying to for a year or so. And then we ended up not doing that and doing supplements. And I said, yeah, I'll do that. And I wanted to help train his salespeople at the time to take pictures and do inspections, just because it would not only help them, but help his company, which would in turn help me. And then that kind of evolved into me becoming a manager, trying sales managing and operations, trying everything that Joe had tried.
He's done it all.
Yeah, I've done it all in the company, but now I just do sales, work with the insurance companies for customers. We've kind of shrunk the company down to be more slim and efficient with just Joe and I doing quote unquote sales.
Are you partners, or are you employee, or?
Nope, just an employee.
Just employee, just the
Yep.
driver.
Just the driver. Got my driver hat here somewhere.
And Wes was a big part of teaching us. I mean, everything on the insurance side. I mean, I really didn't know anything about it. I just was good at marketing and started getting the phone to ring, and then he taught us how to actually make some money doing it.
Is your business mainly insurance restoration, or you do a lot of retail, or?
That's all we do is insurance restoration for residential.
Okay.
I mean, we very rarely do any retail.
Okay.
I mean, I'll give them a price, but if you're looking for the cheapest guy, don't waste my time. Because it's called black and white because when it comes to quality, there is no gray area. We're going to do it right every time.
And we do some retail. I mean, but like you said, mainly it's people that want it done right and want to know that it's being done right and want that added value. But yeah, 90% is definitely insurance, very little retail, and even fewer new constructions, just because in our area, new construction, they just want it done as cheap and easy as possible. So, and that's...
Guys,
as we drive, Igor, look at the right. As we drive, everybody's staring at us.
Oh, yeah.
And it's hard to know what they're staring at. Like, is it the car, the horns, the lemur? What is it?
The wrap.
And this guy.
We're just going to make it loud.
Now we're making them even more uncomfortable because they don't like being filmed.
Right.
Or is it the camera crew?
Yeah. So, Joe, I have a question for you about your wife is the CFO of the company. How did you meet your wife, and how did she become part of the business?
So she was a foreign exchange student from China. She came here at 19, and I was actually playing football at a different school, and I was a decathlete on the track team, training to do that. And our football coach had a heart attack and died, and he was a young guy, big old dude, spoke like Hulk Hogan. And man, I loved football. It was my passion. But I was really good at track. And I started.
What's your favorite distance?
Pole vault was my favorite. I was a jumper. I high jump.
Oh wow.
6'4", and pole vaulted 14, and triple jumped really good. I was all state in long jump and triple jump. But when the football coach died, everybody just dispersed and went to different schools, and I decided that I wanted to go to the best D2 football program in the country, and I didn't realize they didn't have tryouts. So he said, "Son, we recruit." So I ended up training as a decathlete up there, for a couple of years, and then I decided to just get a little more into the books when I met my wife, and then I realized, hey, I got to pay for college. Oh, what am I going to do here? I had a track scholarship, but that kind of didn't last very long. So I ended up joining the Army and got out of sports and started working on helicopters.
How long have you been in the Army?
I did 10 years and 11 days.
10 years and 11 days to the day.
Oh, yeah.
Is it common to count days?
Oh, yeah. Everybody that's out of the military knows exactly how long they've served. I promise. But I wouldn't change it for anything. It's helped me a lot in my life. It taught me that I can accomplish anything. Going through flight school was the hardest thing that I've ever imagined that I could accomplish.
Can you name a couple, what's your best lessons from the military?
Just never give up. I went to flight school and everybody was like a genius. I'm not. And I found out that, I can beat everyone, but I just have to work a lot harder at it, and which I don't mind. I've got a pretty extreme work ethic. Kobe Bryant's my idol. I got that Mamba mentality.
Outwork everyone?
Outwork everyone, no matter what. Just the constant perseverance of greatness, knowing that you'll never achieve it.
What do you think about Kobe Bryant dying in a helicopter?
That one hit hard to me, being a helicopter pilot,
Yep.
and my brother is as well. But that one really hit home because, I always looked up to Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant was, the closest thing that
Yep.
I want to be like Mike. It was Kobe Bryant. And when he
happened?
passed, that was pretty sad.
What happened? Was it foggy?
So yeah, it was the ceiling was low, the clouds were low. Inexperienced pilot. I mean, he had time under his belt, but let me take that back. Probably not inexperienced. It's more of they call it the get there itis. You know, you fly around a high profile person, you know, Donald Trump, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, the governor, you know, you fly around a high profile guy, you feel like you're obligated to get them to the place you want to get them to. And the conditions were not right to be flying. He should have said, Kobe, we ain't flying today. And he'd still be alive. Yeah. A lot of people do it when they run, you know, they'll be low on fuel and we'll make it, and they'll run out of fuel. And you run out of fuel in the helicopter, you don't just pull over to the side of the road.
Wow.
Somebody dies. And it's unfortunate. That was a sad day.
So how did you make a switch to roofing when you resigned? Did you resign, or like how does it work in the military?
So yeah, as an officer, you don't have like an enlisted guy. You have a contract.
Yeah.
As an officer, you can resign anytime.
So you resigned?
And I had a medical issue. I had a spinal fluid leak, which is very rare, I found out. But it was kind of nuts. I just had this headache all the time, just right here, kind of like a sinus headache. Every time I would bend over, it was pretty rough. And some Indian doctor, the guy had a dot on his head. This smart Indian doctor guy here in St. Louis, it took him a year no doctor could figure out what was wrong with me. And he said, man, you got a spinal fluid leak, and they did blood patch surgery, which is, they just inject your own blood into your spinal cord, and it coagulates, I guess is the word, and it clots the hole, and it stops leaking. And the headache went away in one day, and I had it for a year.
Not just a headache every day for a year.
It was like a brain freeze.
For solid, 24/7.
It was horrible. I was miserable. That was when I decided to get out.
Did you know what you're gonna do after the military?
Yes. So I had already had my roofing company. I already started the roofing company. I already knew that I wanted out at that point. And I wanted out because, I'm an Apache pilot, right? I just went to flight school, just graduated, just had my first son, and I'm supposed to go to Afghanistan. I'm on the list. I'm the last guy to graduate and go. And, I was excited to do that because that's what they do. They train you to fly a tank killer, a badass machine. And they train you to go to war. Well, that's where I was supposed to go. And I get a phone call from the colonel, and he says, we've decided not to take you. We're taking your older brother. And I found out later, my older brother was behind it all. He had 10 years ahead of me as a pilot, and he's 10 years older than me. He's the oldest, and I'm the youngest. And he asked the colonel if my mom could not have two sons go. So that kind of sealed my fate. As a pilot, I didn't get the experience, but it also opened the door to get into roofing, and that's when I started the company. So I got him to thank for all my success. I could have went to war, and maybe I didn't come back. So.
Wow. So the roofing, is it what you always wanted to do? You told me earlier you were recommended to do the restaurant, or you wanted to do the restaurant and you were recommended against it. How did you pick roofing?
I guess I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always been wheeling and dealing, and everybody that I've ever known my whole life will tell you that. My first business was actually gumball machines. My middle brother, Mike, he was a Mizzou triple jumper, fifth best all-time triple jumper at Mizzou. So I was inspired by him, by sports too, and he bought me a gumball machine for my birthday one year, and I must have been junior high, something like that. And before you know it, I had the gumball machine at the cafeteria in the school, and I'm making money. And that's how when I got into high school, that's how I bought my first car. I bought it with $1,000 in quarters. And what's funny is I actually still have all the gumball machines today, and now my kids own the gumball machines, and I teach them, and that's how they make money. My kids got a lot of stuff, but occasionally they'll go buy their own stuff, use their own money. I'm trying to teach them the right way. My son just bought a baseball bat the other day, and it looks like a giant pencil. And he just always wanted one, and I said, you got to spend your own money, and he went and bought one for $200.
How do you pick Lake Ozark for your workshop, roofing shop?
So, actually, all my family's originally is from Ireland, and then they went to Pennsylvania, and then everybody kind of ended up in St. Louis. But then as my dad grew up in St. Louis, he decided to move out toward the Eldon area just to get out of the city and raise his family. And he did that in about 1980. But yeah, just growing up in Eldon and seeing the lake and just seeing all the money that was there and the things that people had that we didn't.
You did some
was intriguing to me.
You did some market research too when you started, though, right? And it was either there or Salt Lake City.
Yeah, after all the market research, I actually was this close to moving to Utah, and we actually went out and visited. And then I just got to thinking. Before you know it, my phone started ringing. All my friends and all my family, everybody I knew, started needing roofs.
That's the thing about the business. I always tell people the first year, it's very, very unique. You will remember your customers from the first year.
I remember the first house I did.
Yeah, every review, it has the psychological effect. The same thing as like your kid, when he goes to neighbors and offers them to cut the grass, everybody wants to support the hustling kid who's trying to make money. When you start your business, friends, family, and your first customers, there's something about us telling the customers that, hey, I just started a business. Everybody wants to support you. Like it's, if we're talking about psychology, think about your 5-year-old kid memorizing first poem. Like you don't care if they pronounce all the words. You don't care if it's good, bad, or ugly, or because they put the effort to memorize something. They put on a show. It's like, hey, I have a show for you, and you don't care how good the show is. Well,
you're looking for confidence.
Exactly. So if someone comes to you and say, I want I also want, as an immigrant, I want to compliment this country for supporting small business. There's something in DNA of this country, DNA of capitalism. When someone opens the business, I guess there's so many people who've done business, there's so many success stories. When people see you going for the dream, everybody wants to support you. Like we drive by and you see the kid with the lemonade stand. What do you want to do? You want to support it.
Always. I used to do lemonade stands as a kid. I know all about it.
So right now there's a big talk in the roofing community. Everybody's talking about equity firms buying businesses, growing.
Yeah,
right?
we've had 150 contact us.
Exactly. So everybody is concerned about, well, what's going to happen to the industry? And I tell people, slow down, don't panic. In this country, we love small business. If people have a choice between hiring big company and small mom and pop shop, oftentimes they go for small mom and pop shop. Yeah, we like Walmarts, yeah, we like Amazons and stuff, but there's something about local restaurant. Yeah. Even like a food truck next to Lowe's. Like some people don't understand who eats there, but a lot of people do. So that's that.
Oh yeah. So that brings me to my next business was I'm out of flight school. I worked in a factory. I was miserable. I couldn't, night shift. And my dad used to sell shrimp on the side of the road when he retired out of the military for fun. He'd go down to New Orleans, buy shrimp, bring it back and sell it at my buddy's gas stations. So I just made it reborn. And I started selling shrimp on the side of the road with 2 kids. I got a college degree, from a 4-year university, double major, and then I flew 5 helicopters for the U.S. Army, and 1 being the most advanced in the world. And I'm on the side of the road selling shrimp, and people are making fun of me. Well, and I'm working, Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July, every big holiday, because that's when everybody's out. And I couldn't tell you how many roofs people that I've done their roof on their house just because they remember that I was sold shrimp, and they remember and they supported me. So that was a fun time too.
Oh, I get it. Good stuff. So, how did you decide on the black and white roofing? I know you like black and white, the logo, your uncle's restaurant and stuff, but why roofing? Why black? And also, double question: why did you decide black and white roofing? And number two, why in the world you're not advertising black and white roofing?
So I think when black and white, that's just how I operate. That's how I think. That's how my life is. When you're flying helicopters in an Apache specifically, you see everything 10 feet forward and 3 feet down, and it's in your right eye, and you have a reticle. So whatever you look at, you just got to pull the trigger, and the gun will shoot it. You see everything in black and white, and it's very simple. It's a difference in temperature, and then of course when you start a helicopter, everything is done with a checklist. Put on seatbelt, okay. Open checklist, turn the key, flip this switch. Just everything is very systematic.
Yeah.
And it's fail safe and dummy proof. And I feel like, I do lots of checklists. I write down, I brainstorm, I write down ideas, and then I just start knocking them off, man. I've never gotten a honey-do list from my wife. I've already done it. I've got a list so large that she wants me to stop.
We can ask my wife; she'll have something to do for you. Like that list never ends.
But,
doesn't matter what is done, what's not done. There's always stuff to do.
Oh yeah.
You're lucky, man. Those Chinese women, they don't have a list, I guess.
So I'm remodeling my first house in Eldon.
Okay.
And I realized how hard it is to hire people, and that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to start a roofing company. I found out there was some money in it. I think it's a modern day gold rush, honestly. And it may be short lived, it may not. Insurance companies were pretty tough at the beginning of the year, at least in Missouri.
Okay.
But as I'm remodeling this house in Eldon, I bought my house I'm in now. Now I got two houses. I'm remodeling both of them, and I'm working all day, flying helicopters, and I'm 2 hours away from my house because I fly out of Whiteman Air Force Base. Sometimes pretty late at night.
So you still fly helicopters?
No, not anymore.
But it's back in the day.
I'm still licensed, but you have to stay
Yeah.
current, and
Yeah.
that's very difficult.
But you offered me a ride, so
Well, we're doing that tomorrow.
okay. So are you gonna take us?
I won't be flying. I'll just be sitting in the back talking with you.
Okay, got it. Perfect. I was curious about that, that's why I asked.
But yeah, as I'm remodeling these houses, I'm realizing, man, all these contractors are crooks. They're liars. They never show up when they say they're going to. And that's when it dawned on me. I'm starting black and white, and when you hire us, it's just that. The difference is black and white. We're going to do the job right every time. We're going to do what we say we're going to do. It's just
that's
the
what
golden
separates
rule.
you from others.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I mean, and you're gonna deal with me, the owner. I work with every one of my customers.
But you did have salespeople before, so you did build a team.
Yeah, we've went down that rabbit hole. We've tried everything. I can tell you.
So what's the problem with employees? Why it didn't work out?
I think it's a combination of
It's
things.
a lot of things.
One of them just being the area that we're in. We talked earlier how there's a bunch of little towns.
It's not
that make
employees
up-
specifically; it's salespeople
Yeah.
specifically.
And it's kind of hard to convince people. I think people that we can get to work for us by the hour versus a commission-based sales position. People just don't want to leave the safety and security of their salary or hourly position. I think a big part of it is just the area. A big part of it is people not wanting the position.
Well, they sell 19 roofs, and then all of a sudden they know more than me. And I've sold thousands. We've sold thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, they sell 19 roofs. We did all the marketing. We gave them the lead anyway to try to help them, trying to motivate them, teach them some things. And before you know it, they think they know more than us, and then they steal everything and go do it on their own because they think the grass is greener, or they think they can do it better.
And now you just
And
create a competition.
And yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you how many, maybe
How
10.
competitive is your area? How many roofing contractors?
When I started,
Yeah.
there was probably 4. You know, me being the biggest overnight by far, and still are most popular by far in the area. And I don't just mean roofing company; I mean company at the lake. Everyone knows who we are. But there's probably been 10 people that I've fired that have started their own, or at least tried. The last one I actually took to court and won a lawsuit for $228,000.
Are you gonna get that money?
No, no, we probably won't.
Tell me about that lawsuit. How long did it take? What's the lawsuit about? Is it a salesperson?
So it was a sales guy that I ended up promoting to general manager, trying to, I was trying to go out with the salespeople and teach them some things. And I made him the general manager. That's what it was. And just, I'm not the kind of guy that checks my bank account every day. In fact, I don't even care. I don't look at it. All I do is put effort forward, and I know the life that I can live.
Isn't your wife CFO now?
And my wife takes care of all that.
Oh, yeah.
But so we're working, and I'm just not closing as many deals. Something's wrong. I'm looking at our CRM program, and I told my wife, I said, something's wrong. I don't know what it is yet, but let's start looking into it. And it took us about, maybe a month. So in this storm that we went to was in Bolivar, Missouri. And kind of back to what Wes was saying earlier, we bought this zebra. See, I never owned a cat or a dog. The first animal I ever bought was a zebra. Okay, I didn't have a fence
true story.
for this zebra.
No,
I bought a zebra.
You had a fence.
Well, we put up a makeshift fence. It wasn't a good one.
You had the fence for
it was makeshift.
The
So
horse.
you did not plan it.
So, well,
No.
the plan was, and this sounds ridiculous, but the plan was we're buying this zebra. Hailstorm just hit. It was big. And my old boss that I flew helicopters with lives there. So that's kind of my first way in. And the plan was, hey, let's let this zebra loose in the town and it'll just go viral. And everybody will know who.
It was a joke. We were not going to actually let the zebra loose.
It was a half joke.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, simultaneously, this guy's stealing from me. So I'm like, dude, we ain't got time to mess with this zebra. Just put it in the cage, feed it, water it, Well,
not the cage. It was a
the
field.
fence.
It had
yeah.
probably 5-10 acres, just to clarify there. Too.
Well, but just to clarify, now I've got a $250,000 fence that will hold buffalo, which I'm looking at getting. But anyway, so he's in this makeshift fence, and what was it, Ameren or somebody was over there. Some guys were working and spooked him, and he said, I'm getting out of here. And he jumped over that fence, used it as a ladder, broke some stuff, and he was gone. And I'm talking not like a deer, like you can get pretty close to a deer sometimes. You cannot get close to a zebra. That son of a gun was like,
he stayed
300
1,000
yards
away.
I mean,
more. Yeah.
As far as he could stay away from you is as far, it was bad.
Wow.
So I called the guy I bought it from. He said, do nothing. You're just going to make him run further. And as soon as he jumped our fence, he knew he could jump every fence in the county. So it's all over Facebook. People are calling me saying that there's a zebra loose. It gets on the news. It makes nationwide news.
Okay.
And anyway, the guy that I got it from said, you just need to wait. Hope they're herd animal. So hopefully he'll partner up with some cows. And that's exactly what he did. He got on the 600 acres next to my property, started hanging out with the cows, and we let him kind of acclimate for 2 weeks. The farmer would, come close, feed the cows, and he started getting used to the truck. And that's when we came in with the tranquilizer to get him.
Poor animal.
Yeah.
Now, back to your $250,000 lawsuit.
Yeah, so my wife was the one who actually, I was the one that had the sense it was happening. She was the one that figured it out. And this guy had customers writing him personal checks somehow directly to him. Plus he was stealing contracts and deleting addresses and phone numbers, and just messing with our CRM program.
So yeah, we were
stealing a bunch of stuff, plus the non-compete.
Over what period of time? So how much did he stole?
Actually,
from the day he started, which was crazy.
We didn't realize anything was going on or actually go after him for anything at that period. But his very first job that he went out and sold, well, he didn't actually sell it. It was a job I gave him to work. He had her writing him checks, but we're in the storm working. I told Joe. Joe kept telling me we're working too hard. Feels like we're spinning our wheels. And then one day he sent us an email and said, I quit.
Yeah.
So we have a checklist, like Joe says. We've got a checklist for everything. When an employee quits or is fired, we go through the termination checklist. We were going through that, and I had set the system up for anything that's deleted, we can still recover for 30, 60, 90 days. And we started noticing he had been deleting stuff out of our Google Drive. We went to follow up on all of his customers. The phone numbers weren't correct. The addresses were wrong.
Yeah.
So he kind of sabotaged the CRM. He had downloaded some of our documents and proprietary stuff we had made, and then deleted it. And I think to this day is still using our contracts and documents.
Well,
but the biggest issue was that the court found is that, yes, he was intentionally going after our customers and trying to take them. And so the value of those jobs is where we got the $250,000 judgment. When realistically it was more than that, but we were able to prove that.
So why are you not gonna collect it, you think?
He don't have it. I mean, we're still working on it. I haven't given up yet, but but here's the thing, none of it really matters because I'm very positive. It's the best thing that ever happened to us.
Is he gonna do does he have a felony now?
Well,
no,
we can't. We're still working on that too. But,
yeah. We had to go through civil first before they can do criminal.
Yeah, now they're working criminal. But here's why it's the best thing that ever happened to us, because I always look at the glass as half full. My wife finally realized that, she was managing a bank. She's the accountant, and I don't quote me on this, but I think they got like $200 million. She's running this accounting thing. And she's really smart, smartest person I know. She's doing all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I come up to her and I say, I need you to quit your job and run the company so I can go do the sales, because that guy, what he did to us, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. That is the day that I told her that I will never have another salesperson at my company.
So it broke your trust, like you don't trust people anymore.
So we did everything we could to change the way we do things. So I just have the few people that I trust in my life, and we make lots of money, and it can be replicated. And that's where I'm headed.
What's your philosophy on customer service? Is customers always right?
Most of the time.
Most of the Do you deal with a lot of Karens, so we call them?
We've had a few, but for the most part, no. 99% of our customers are good. I did have one guy scam me and get an insurance claim out of the deal.
Sure.
I learned from that. But my wife quitting her job really changed everything, because she immediately started figuring out everywhere we were losing money and easily justified her old salary of $60,000 a year. And now we're making, really good money. And instead of it being a pass-through going to all those salespeople we had, now it's all going to us.
So what would you say you do different for your customers that competition doesn't do as far as customer service goes?
Well, I communicate better than anybody there is. I mean, most people never show up. Most people never call them back. Most people never follow up. They never do what they say they're going to do. And I do that.
I would say in a smaller cities like this, it's like if you go to Dallas, called top 10 roofing companies, so competitive, for Minneapolis, you're going to have people show up, maybe in a rural area like this.
Well, and then...
So communication is your big...
Communication's number one, and then quality. I mean, we give a lifetime warranty on all our workmanship. If it leaks, I'm fixing it for free. No questions asked. But we don't have any leaks because we always do it right. Even if the insurance company doesn't pay us to do it right, I'm still going to do it right. Because it means more to me to have that good customer and get more business than, I'm not trying to get rich on one job. I'm trying to roof a house every day, and we do a pretty damn good job at it.
Sure. So how have your services changed or adapted to meet your customers' needs since you have first started?
Say that again?
So how did your service or how did you adapt it to your customers' needs? What changed? How did you adapt your business to your customer needs?
I would say you probably learned how to develop that roofing system and do it right so that you would feel confident it wasn't going to leak. Instead of doing what the insurance company paid or allowed per line item,
Yeah, that's how I first started. I'm like, oh, the insurance company's paying to do this, this, and this, and I do that. And I'm like, at the beginning, we did have some problems. We did have some leaks. And then I just said, hell with this. Wes taught me some supplement stuff, and we realized that this is just a big game. The insurance companies aren't always playing fair, and it's just a big game. But it takes two to tango. We need them, and they need us. So we work well with all of them now.
I have a question. I want to find this some time ago. All right, so I have someone. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to answer. This came in April 6, 2023. I just searched my messenger because what people don't realize here at Roofing Insights on my YouTube channel, right? When you call out people, when you do like as many videos as we do, people report to us everything. We have so many stories like, call out this person, call out almost every day. And I never ever do anything with it unless I'm sitting down for the interview and share. So I have this person accusing you of stuff, and I'm gonna give you.
All right, bring it on.
Yeah. So.
Bring it on.
So you asked the other day about who buys Google reviews. 2 companies here where I am do. Then they make their employees ask 5 friends and family members to give them reviews. Name of the company, please. Rooflux makes their employees get friends and family to write fake reviews. Black and White buys reviews and also asks everyone under the sun to write fakes.
Okay.
So that's accusation. I guess so we did a story on fake reviews, and I get like tons of messages.
Sure. So the first part of that was Rooflux.
Yeah.
So that was my first sales guy.
Okay.
He's a nice guy. Didn't work out. He sold 30 roofs and then went off and did his own thing. I call it roof sucks, but anyway. He's a good dude. He's literally just copied off me on everything, which when I'm, I can't blame him. I'm the GOAT. So yeah, I'd copy off me too. And if he was paying for those, he's only got like 30, so he didn't do very well.
Yeah.
And then on the second part, it said, I think you said that we ask everybody to do a fake review. I've never asked anyone to ever give me a review.
Did you ever buy reviews?
I've never bought a review. I'm going to tell you how I got famous on Google, because I'm in the top 10% in the country on Google. And then we kind of got so busy that I was trying to get higher than 10, but no one will ever beat us locally for sure. I've never asked anybody to write me a Google review and lie and say that I did your roof. Now, I have met people before and said, hey, if you'd mind giving us a Google review, it might help us out. But definitely don't say that I ever roofed your house. Just say you met us and you like the monkey or whatever. I've said that before. And some people have done a character review.
Yeah.
Because I want people to know who I am and who they're dealing with.
And I think we've had
that before.
When salespeople were here, told them, have your friends or family
do a character review on them.
Do a character review on you and mention your name, so that as people are going through and they say, hey, Bob is a great person, known him, this is something great about him or whatever. But never to lie and say, you've roofed their house or anything like that. So.
And we've done well on Google. I think we're second in where we're from now, because the company that just passed us like last month
And I think
they're paying all their salesmen to do that. And I know that for a fact because a guy I went to high school with, and a guy that my son went to the state basketball championship with used to work there too.
the closest you could say we come to paying that I'm aware of is we would give the sales guys, a bonus if they got their customers to leave us a review, but we've never gone to a service that does reviews and paid for anything like that. We always assume that other people have done that, because if you go through and look at the review, you can click on the person who's giving the review's name, and sometimes they'll show up from like India or the Philippines or
Of course.
Somewhere out of the country, which I don't think those people are getting roofs from companies at Lake of the Ozarks.
So let me tell you how we got so famous on Google, because I think you'd agree. I don't know if you've looked it up. We're at over 30 million views on Google right now, and it's all organic. I've never paid Google ever to market.
Okay, one more accusation.
Okay, go ahead.
This guy is a shithead that owes a bunch of subs and salesman money. This is March 9, 2023.
All right. Damn, that's recent.
And I'm like, how bad? Several, like you can see. Oh.
Yeah, I don't want to see it yet.
Yeah, no,
After I answer, then I want to know who said it.
I asked
Maybe.
how bad. Anyway, how bad? Several subs, roofing labor, at least 4 sales guys. They're just the ones that have reached out to me and told me about it. But his company has screwed around some homeowners as well. I got no reason to lie to you. I know the knucklehead very well.
Oh, God. All I can say to that is, well, Taylor Swift said it best.
Call the local supplier and ask if he's a stand-up company.
That's a great idea. Let's do that. We can call ones I don't even buy from that I used to buy from, and I'd love to hear what they say.
So
But
looks like you have some enemies. What's up
Well,
with
Taylor Swift said it best. Haters gonna hate. Look at Donald Trump. Half the people love him and half the people hate him. Kobe Bryant. I mean, if you ain't got haters, you ain't doing it right. But no, I've never. Listen. I got the best wife in the world. She pays all the bills. We've never not paid a bill and got a lien put on someone's house for that. Never. Now there's a guy that used to work for me that owns a roofing company that is hiding from things like that, and it's all over CaseNet. It's actually part of my sales pitch. When I talk to a customer, I always send them a picture of my driver's license and I say, please look me up. Please look at CaseNet. And please do that to the people you're hiring, because there's a lot of crooks in this industry. And I have no criminal history. I've got a secret security clearance. You can't get one of those and be a shithead.
Secret security, what is that?
Through the government, through the military, to fly attack helicopters and go through secret briefings, you have to have a secret security clearance, and they do. It's a very in-depth background check.
So you brought Trump up, so I have to ask. Usually, it's not a good idea to talk about religion, to talk about politics, because you're gonna separate a lot of people. But in some areas, I would argue it's opposite, because if you, let's say you're on the liberal side or conservative side, if you know your audience, if you know your people, like Besden Roofer is pretty good at that.
Oh, he's
liberal tax 25%. Right. So, what's your take? Why you're so pro-Trump, and why you're leading with it in business, I guess?
So my answer is exactly the same as it would have been before he got shot. And that is, if you don't support Donald Trump, don't call me. I don't want to roof your house. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Have you lost the business because of it?
I don't care.
But
I don't know, and I don't care. I make plenty of money, and I love my life, and I live a life in black and white. It's very simple.
There was a time,
it's exactly the way I want to live.
There was a time when we might have, he didn't, but I did, worried about whether it might affect business or not. But at this point, I don't.
In what way? In what way, and when was it?
Just, someone that may contact us, or someone that we may have contacted that may not agree with the political views, that maybe doesn't want to use us. but I don't think that's happened to me
I don't care.
once. And yeah, like you said, we did another podcast with a company, and it was 99 problems, but a lead ain't one. And that honestly is the truth. We have more leads come in than we can handle as it is. So if someone doesn't want to work with us because of our political views, so be it.
What about religious views, and what about other other dividing topics like LGBT community, like transgender, toilets?
I told you earlier, I gave a bonus to a girl that wanted to be a boy that cut her breast off. I don't care how she lives. She was a good salesman. He was a good salesman. Now, it didn't work out later on, but it got us where it was a stepping stone. It got us where we needed to be, and we got involved with Atlas, and I'm happy for that.
And I would say we're more accepting on all of that stuff than people assume that we are.
You just don't accept liberals.
I just don't accept Joe Biden. He can't speak.
Yeah.
He is not, dude. Michael Jordan. Donald Trump is the Michael Jordan of presidents. He's the greatest of all time, and that's who I want leading my country, to propel this country into the future for my children. And anybody that disagrees with that is lying. Dude, what we saw yesterday, and I'm proud that I was the first one to tell you, because I felt like you needed to know.
So he texted me, he's like, what the fuck you said?
I said, what
Trump?
the fuck? They just shot Trump.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? And I went to the news, and that's how I found out from this guy. But you know what's funny? My kids are in school, right? Like, I have 5 kids from 8 to 16. And I did not know that they get like politics in school and stuff, that our kids talk about Biden and Trump.
They didn't used to. That's a new thing.
So much, man. My kids make fun of Biden, they're like hardcore. When I hear my kids, like, I never talk about politics. Like, I'm trying to stay out of it, just because
you can't, man.
No, you can't. Like, I have if you ask me, I'll answer, right? But I'm not gonna lead with it, and like I don't talk. I'm just staying out.
You know what Ronald Reagan said? If you're into politics, you're something like this. If you're into politics, you're stupid. But if you're not into politics, you're just not smart. I mean, it's our life. I am a product of Donald Trump. My company is a product of a great economy.
Here's how I look at the politics. This is just me personally. The same way I look at the religion, the same way, you know what else? The same way I look at the company values. I believe, and this is just my core belief in life, when you have a core value of anything, you don't have to put it on a wall. You don't, like, people will know.
Right.
Like for example, if you're Christian, right? Like, I don't want to ever tell anyone that I believe in God. Or I don't want to ever tell anyone that hard work is my core value. Or integrity is my core value.
Sure.
Or that I'm conservative. I want people to be like, okay, Dimitri is this, this, and this, because we know him. Like, there's the things in life that
your actions speak louder than words.
Exactly. There's things that just should be obvious. And for me, it's who I vote for. I mean, if you ask me, Dimitri, do you believe in God? Yeah, but it's how I treat others. It's what I do. Like, you will see it. Those things are come through. Like, that's just my thing. Because when you...
you're going to see my core values when you see all the Trump flags flying high.
No, and it's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying that, I love American flags. I love, I'm installing one today above my fireplace. I have one of my, like, I have Grand Wagoneer. There's a little American flag on my car, and I love those things. But I don't think, like, I personally don't want to lead with it. Anyway. But we do lose business sometimes, and it's okay. Like, you know what? Who I respect, Chick-fil-A. Do you remember when Chick-fil-A made a statement? And I don't know how you feel about it, but like, as a business owner, we make those statements. Okay, we're closing Sundays. Boom. Like, that's
that was awesome.
That's our thing. Or when they say that marriage is between women and men, like, it was their statement. So immediately they pissed a lot of people. They have people standing in front of them, but it's their business. They can say it. Like, just because you're a business owner does not mean that, you cannot have an opinion or you have to agree with everyone. You're still a human. You still can it's not like that you hate someone. It's your belief, and it's core.
Well, it's I guess it is kind of more unique to be open about that stuff that I realized, because we're the only company around in a very conservative area who openly flies the flags and supports the president.
Here's the other way that I kind of look at that too.
President Trump, of course.
Yeah. So, if Chick-fil-A says that, but you enjoy their chicken sandwich, it doesn't mean you can't enjoy their chicken sandwich and you have to agree with what their political or social or religious views are.
Yeah,
you're going to them to have business. You're not going to them for their beliefs.
Yeah, but we have the whole cancel culture thing.
Right.
Because you see one thing and you're like, okay, I'm not going to do it.
And I guess my point I'm trying to make is it's not so much that I don't want somebody's business because of their political views, but if they don't want to do business with me because of the way that I believe and feel, then I don't want to do business with them anyway. But if you have a different political view and belief than I do, and you want to do business with me knowing what mine are, I'm okay doing business with you too. But you said, the cancel culture, I really just don't want to be a part of that.
I think that I can only think of one person who didn't like the fact that we supported Trump, and we still roofed her house. She had a Black Lives Matter sign in her front yard in Jeff City, and we still roofed her house.
We've done several.
And we did a great job, and she was happy about it. I mean, that's just the one I can think of.
So, as far as being veteran, so you're the veteran yourself, is it important for you to hire other veterans for your business?
That's how we started. That was kind of our, that's what I wanted to do at the beginning, and then eventually I just realized everybody's the same. Yeah, we had camaraderie in the military and all that was great, but man, when you get out in the civilian world, it is a dog-eat-dog world. My eyes were opened. I mean, Wes kind of had to sit me down and say, Joe, you have way too much faith in these people. They are never going to get better. Like, I'm the guy that I never give up. It's a difficult thing. I don't give up on people. I had more faith that they could do it and make it here than they had themselves.
But how would you say your military background or experience shape your company culture? Or originally, and I guess now it doesn't?
Well, it just made me who I am. It made me realize that I can do anything that I set out to do. And I've got the discipline. I've got the systems in place, the checklist to get things done, and just the confidence to do it. It takes a lot of confidence to jump in a $70 million aircraft with just one other guy and fly around shooting stuff and come back safely. Once I did that, I just knew I could do anything, and my passion was to be a business owner. So I went all in. I don't do anything half-assed.
Besides Kobe, who are your role models? Who else are you looking up to?
So my number one role model ever, and who I've always wanted to be like, was Michael Jordan. And then of course my grandpa, my brothers, my dad. We come from a history of really great athletes. It started with my grandpa. I got his yearbook in my house. I'll show it to you, from 1933. He was the president of his prep school. He was the captain of all the teams. He was the best athlete in the school. Then I grew up. I'm the youngest in the family. Both my brothers are the best athletes in the school. I'm sitting there. My dad's showing me his yearbook. Look there, son. I was the best athlete in the school. I mean, it's just everybody in my family is the best athlete in the school. And I just knew from a young age that that's what I was going to do until I earned that position and got that award. And my twin sister. And then now, both my kids are the fastest kids in school, and that's what they're trying to do. It means a lot. And I treat business like sports. I'm just out here trying to kick everybody's ass fairly.
Love it.
I'm playing by the rules, and I don't care if you cheat. I'm still going to beat you. But as I went along, I quickly realized that I wasn't really Michael Jordan. I was Kobe Bryant. I can beat him one-on-one, and I just have the work ethic, and I don't know what it is, but I just can't stop.
I have a question about your marketing here.
And you're going to see when we get to the house, I'll show you my gym. You're going to see all the role models in my life, and there are a lot.
Okay, question about your marketing. Your marketing is very loud and proud. What's your response to people who say it's all marketing, no substance?
Well, first I'd say, surely nobody says that because they're ignorant if they do. No, I'm going to be the loudest guy in the room without even opening my mouth. I mean, I got horns on every vehicle I own because it's awesome.
How does horns transfer to roofing?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. That's the best part. I mean, it's like everybody that told me.
But marketing is perspective.
Everybody told me don't name your company black and white. What's that have to do with roofing? And I said, nothing. It's black and white. I'm creating a brand that my children can piggyback off of for whatever that is they do. If it ends up being an energy drink competing against Red Bull, hell yeah. Roofing is just a stepping stone. It's just cash flow for now. I want to be Donald Trump. I'm getting into real estate.
Okay.
I'm building 134 fourplexes on 50 acres I got.
Wow.
And that's in the works right now because we need housing. So, you saw at my uncle's restaurant, they had horns over the front of their, when you walk in. And I always just thought that was cool. And we started with the zebra, then the lemurs, then I got some longhorn cattle. I got I got live longhorn cattle at my house with bigger horns than these. 3 of them actually. And then I just, I think it was
Put one on one truck, and then it was like
everybody
everything.
loved it. And I just started doing it.
So it's
going
just the
crazy.
conversation starters.
Yeah, it's just another icebreaker. It's just like the black and white shoe. Everybody that I see in public says, "Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Why you got 2 different shoes on?" And I'm like, and then that's when I hand them a card and I say, "Well, actually that's the icebreaker. Give us a call." And that's the same thing. The vehicles are half black and half white, no matter which way you look at them. You can
Do you still have the zebra?
Yep.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see them.
2.
You could take my logo off this car and people still know it's black and white. The word roofing is not on here because I want people to ask the questions and wonder who we are and what we do. I've got the POW flag on top, so when my buddies that fly helicopters fly over, they get to see that. And I want to pay respects to all the POWs that we, there's no telling what those guys went through. I actually, in my survival school, in flight school, like at the very end, we went, 30-day school. They don't feed you and they beat you up, and everybody lost 30 pounds. And you go through prisoner school and survival, resistance, evade, escape, that kind of stuff. At the very end, this old man walks out and they pull the sacks off her head and we got, handcuffs on, and he starts talking. And I remember it like it was yesterday. It's like, middle of the night, this old man starts talking and there's a flag in the background and a owl lands on the fence post, and he proceeds to tell us that he was a POW for like 5 years or something. And when he left the States, he had 4 kids and 1 on the way or something like that. And he never didn't get to meet his last child until he got back from war. And the craziest part about the whole situation, everybody's crying. It was really emotional. But the most emotional part was when his wife walked out.
Wow.
She never left the guy. She went through it all with him. So that's why we do that. And then of course I've got some other companies who, think they call themselves a patriot that never served and that actually do owe people money and got liens on their houses. And well, what are they doing? They're copying off me and they're putting it on the roof too. But it means something to me.
Can I fly? Can I ride the zebra? Is he rideable?
Not quite.
That's the 10-year plan.
Yeah.
10-year
Not
plan?
quite.
Can I
Yeah.
pet him?
Not him. but
Sure.
her, you can feed her. Put it that way.
Okay.
So it's Marty, like the movie, Madagascar.
Okay.
Marty's the one that got out, just like the movie. But again, it was an accident. But now he's not leaving. Okay. When we tranquilized him, see, like a horse takes 1 tranquilizer, a zebra took 3.
And he's still
and
got up.
I mean, there were 6 of us there. We went to pick him up. I'm like, all right, guys, 1, 2, 3. And I'm not kidding you. He stood up, drunk, all over the place, and stumbled onto the trailer by himself. And we got him back to the house, but we had a female there so that, he'd never leave again. So now that's how we ended up with 2. But, I mean, he can jump the fence, I promise you. But he just won't.
I saw the video with a donkey somewhere in California. So this donkey went missing. They found her 5 years later. Donkey living with elks.
Oh yeah. See, they're hurting.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
Actually, it was a guy like looking at a whole bunch of elks, and there's donkey in between them. So he filmed it. It's like, what the heck? Well, I just watched just donkey with elks, and the video went viral. And sure enough, 5 years ago, this donkey went missing, and they found like, yep, that's him. That's our donkey.
Yeah, we got a couple of those too. They're my brothers, but we're trying to get them pregnant with the zebra.
What?
So we want half donkey, half zebra, and then I got a pony.
Was it done before?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They just can't breed.
Call them Z-donks.
It's kind of like a mule, a horse and a donkey. And then of course, if we get a baby zebra, that'd be pretty cool too. But
I want to hear the story of craziest interaction you've had in person or online because of your marketing. Think about a story.
Well, probably Marty getting out. I mean, it went nationwide. It was on Fox News.
We could not find those videos. Like, you need to save them. If you go like with that publicity, you have to download them.
I've got it all on TikTok and stuff.
And we could not find them, even on TikTok. My video guy was looking for your account, and he's like, Dimitri, everything he said, like after our interview.
So black and white _TV is our TikTok.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I can.
Maybe
a lot of those news stories. I know what you're saying though.
News stories we could not find.
They
we did find your accounts.
That one was pretty good.
They disappear after a couple years, and you can't.
You have to download them and reshare them or save them on your web. Like what I would do, just marketing advice, on your website, add the page like in the news, and just write article or share those clips. Download them and re-upload them to yours.
So I'm glad you brought that up just now. All the marketing that we've done is literally just been me and my wife and Wes. Like we've never hired anybody.
No, I get it,
but we're just
still,
learning.
But yeah, but
we're pretty good.
But put it on a website so people can see it. That's a free publicity for you for the rest of the years. Otherwise, people not gonna it, but outsiders will not. Even if you tell me, I have to go Google search and scroll for pages.
Okay.
And if it's on the second page of Google, it doesn't exist. Like it has to be fresh.
Well, and that's why organically we're doing so well on Google because of all of our guerrilla marketing techniques we've done, where we took our pictures of our truck in front of all their businesses and gave them Google reviews. And every time somebody would Google something like the DMV or McDonald's or Walmart or whatever,
Emo's Pizza
we had like 4 million views on that, I think. But yeah, every time somebody would Google a business in our town, because we took thousands of photos doing Google reviews, we were number one.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant strategy.
It literally got us to 30 million. And
can you share it one more time? Like,
I recommend to anybody watching, if you can be the first person in your town to take pictures in front of, wrap a vehicle. The number one way we get business is our wrapped vehicles. Okay. Number 2 is Google. And I mean, we don't even knock doors like everybody else, because we don't have to. Now the Lemur does pretty well too, but and we've tracked all this, so we know these are facts. But yeah, this technique of guerrilla marketing, we call it black and white marketing. It's real simple, right? Take a picture in front of anyone's business. It'd be just like at the restaurant with your food, taking a selfie. Instead of doing that, take a picture of your vehicle in front of their business, in front of their sign, and just post a Google review and say, man, I've eaten here before. I love it. Don't lie. Or maybe you're just going to say, hey, 5 stars. They got a cool looking sign. I don't know. But we are always on top on Google, and 30 million views, no one's even coming close to beating us.
And
Everybody thought I had a friend in Google or something.
It doesn't have to just be Google either. So like on Apple Maps or Waze, you can also take a picture of the business or the destination that you're going to. Take a picture of that business with your rep's truck in front of it, so that if other people use Waze or Apple Maps or Google to go there, it has the possibility of popping that photo up with your vehicle. And before you know it, you're going to have 100 businesses in town with your vehicle popping up. Everybody's going to wonder how you were able to do that.
Yeah, and it'll be the best thing that you ever did.
The algorithms are constantly changing on that. It used to be a little different, but it does still work. And I think a few years ago, the more reviews that you had left and the more of a local guide ranking you had, the higher chance you had of that photo being put up. And it's a little more random now. But you can do a little research on how to take that photo and make it more appealing to the Google algorithm as well.
Now we did have a few people that owned the businesses get pissed off about it and call us, and they were always really mad at the beginning. Why is your truck, how come every time somebody Googles my business, your truck pops up? And I said, I don't know, probably because I'm popular, but I said, what do you want me to do? You want me to remove my 5-star review? And no one ever made me remove it. By the end of the conversation, they're like, well, have a nice day. Appreciate you, Google. I said, guys, it's only making you more famous.
Yep.
So, worked out.
Last question. You share a lot of stories of success. You're a positive person, but I want to hear the darkest moment. The times where, we all have those, when you want to throw a towel, you want to quit, or just stuff that not popular people don't talk about. Like, everybody has perception of the business as, money, fame, employees, whatever, American dream, but nobody talks about like really bad low points. Like, do you have dark moments? What's your lowest points in business? You have people stealing from you. That's gotta be a shitty feeling.
It takes a lot to bother me.
Sure.
You can't fly a helicopter and really be fazed by very much, because they'll cut the engines on you, and you got to auto rotate. You got to go. You're skidding down the runway on just sparks flying because you don't have wheels on this helicopter, and you're just skidding down the runway until you stop, because they shut the engine off, and you're just using gravity. So I don't know. Not a lot really phases me. Money doesn't really motivate me or drive me. I'm just living my life in black and white the way I want to live it. And I work as much and as hard as I can for my family to give them a life that they can enjoy.
What about that work-life balance? Does your wife complain that you work too much, maybe?
Yeah, I don't believe there is such thing as work-life balance, but I have adapted to make it good. If you notice, when we got in the car, I had a computer right here.
Yeah.
Every vehicle I have has its own computer, because I'm not the kind of guy, I don't carry a laptop around. I just go get in a different car and turn it on.
Why do you have so many cars?
Because that's the number one way our phone rings. The vehicles are the number one moneymaker. Now, they're also expensive, and the number one expense is vehicle maintenance.
Number one write-off.
But yeah, the way we've got the business set up, you don't need salespeople. You just need good marketing. The phone rings. Yeah, you'll get some haters, but
So it used to be we had a lot of vehicles so that every salesperson had a
That's
truck
how it began.
to drive around. And then we realized we had all these trucks and they weren't doing anything. And the insurance on the business side was costing so much.
Well, and
why don't we sell these trucks, get rid of them, and get
buy cool shit.
Something cool, and either put it in the business name or don't. so that we don't have to have it on the expensive business insurance. But we have a lot of car shows in our area. There's a lot of special events. So if he's got a Jeep that's lifted and cool, and we take it to an off-road or Jeep event.
Well, it gets you introduced to several different types of people, right? The Lemur gets people that like Lemurs. The Bentley gets people that like Bentleys. The Horns, the Jeep
Who
gets
likes
Jeep
Bentleys,
people.
Bentleys with their horns?
The hot rod gets the hot rod guys. We're just,
I like it.
everybody likes
What
us.
about Tesla? What do you think about Cybertruck? Are you gonna get one?
I ordered one in 2019,
Yeah.
and they said 2026 is when I should have it. But
2026.
I mean, it's unique. It'll turn some heads. But really, all we're trying to do, it's just the icebreaker. Because once we talk to you, I mean, why wouldn't you let us help you? A hailstorm hit our area. You have to pay your deductible by law. Missouri Senate Bill 101 says you have to. I can't eat the deductible. And the insurance company's going to pay the rest. And Black and White's going to roof it right every time. I mean, why aren't you going to call me? I mean, who are you going to call? The 10 people that stole everything from me, that are trying to copy off me, that are crooks? And you can tell because all you got to do is look at their CaseNet file. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Well, it's just, we got all these conversation starters, so there's a different conversation.
The shoes work really
every
well.
different kind of person. And then it's just something they remember. But then they may not need a roof today, but in the future they're going to go, what was that roofing company that had one black and one white shoe? And then if they do a quick Google search, Black and White Roofing Company. Oh, it's Black and White Roofing. Go figure.
I'm just living a life that a lot of people would dream of. And I know that, I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm just speaking the facts. I know that people are talking about me at their dinner table. I know that they're talking about me around the campfire, because when they're messing around, I'm working. I'm always working. Just always working to try to better my life.
Well, when we're doing stuff with our family, or whether it's a kid's sporting event or whatever, we're, quote unquote working.
I don't feel like I've worked. I honestly don't feel like I work a day in my life. It's just a lifestyle that I live. I always dress in black and white. I sponsored my sports teams for my kids. My kids are wearing black and white socks and shoes out and people are talking about it.
I bet your kids like it, Brandon. Kids love this stuff.
My son, his goal is to be a professional athlete and start a shoe company and start selling black and white shoes. That's his goal.
What other business, not ideas, but like businesses that you currently have or developing? You mentioned the drink, you mentioned the wine. What else you have going on for you besides roofing? Real estate?
Yeah, real estate, land development. I just want to start owning, people start paying me rent. That's where I want to get to.
Okay.
Just because our area needs housing and I've got some good land. And I've become pretty good friends with some of the guys that I've roofed their house, and I'm like I'm a sponge. One of my best friends is a business partner of mine. We got $100,000 in the bank together. I roofed his house. It leaked. I fixed it. He's like, "Wow, you're an honest guy. I appreciate you." And long story short, I found out he's a land developer and he's an entrepreneur like me. I can call this guy at midnight. He'll answer the phone just to talk about business. I don't have anyone hardly in my life that is passionate about that. We're always trying to invent something. We're always trying to just the next big thing, knowing that it'll never end.
Love it.
Well, and you asked earlier about one of his darkest moments or whatever, but they did a deal with another customer that he's also friends with on some land development. And so the one he was just talking about called him out for a gutter, downspout replacement of all things. He said, I can fix this downspout for you, but how about we get you a new roof and gutters out of this? You've got hail and wind damage on your home. He did that. But the other one, they put a standing seam metal roof on. Completely was not.
Well, my sales guy screwed it all up and pissed off the customer. And His name's Keith, good friend of mine. He actually was the first person to call me and tell me that Donald Trump got shot. And we roofed this guy's house. My sales guy screwed it all up, and he comes over to me and says, Joe, I got $250 million. It ain't about the money. Are you going to fix this or not? And I said, Keith, I'm going to roof it myself. And I finished and I roofed that house with the roofers, and I made sure that the job was done right, and we put a Da Vinci on it, and he was extremely pleased. We've been friends ever since. He owns the largest gutter machine manufacturing company in the world, called KWM out of Chicago. And you know, it comes back to you. He was the one that sold me the property where I'm developing these 134 fourplexes. He gave me a hell of a deal on the property, and like I said, we're still friends today.
Love it. That was very interesting podcast. Thank you, Black and White, for inviting us. Very interesting format to film in the car. We had a 2-hour ride each way, so we decided to save time and do it in the car. But guys, if you enjoy our business conversations in our podcast, comment below. Comments and engagement truly helps the channel. The more you engage with the channel, the more amazing content we're gonna produce for you, because every engagement counts. It helps us not only because we appreciate your feedback, and your feedback kind of shapes our channel, what content to create more of. So if you like more business podcasts, comment on them. Sometimes we will make amazing video, but due to the lack of engagement, it will kind of tank the views. YouTube does not promote it. People don't see it. So we truly need your help, your support. Comment below and reach out if you have amazing story and you would like to come to our podcast as well. We're always looking for interesting people to interview, to travel to. Reach out. If you have amazing business story, maybe one day we will tell your story.